So I'm going to start working on Inktober day 5, and I'm going to do another print for this. And I'm actually going to do this Something Wicked This Way Comes print. I'm probably also going to make this into a print in Inktober. No promises. That is just something that did not work. But I thought I would show you what I do to start out. So I'm going to take my pumpkin pencil, and I'm actually just going to darken all of the lines up so I can transfer. So now that I've darkened the lines, I'm actually going to take a bone folder that I happen to have. If you don't have some sort of bone folder, you can do this with any kind of tool with a nice edge on it. But what I'm going to do is, and I'll double check this when I flip it, but, ooh, sorry, it's a little hard to show. I'm going to line my linoleum up with the carving. So about right there. And I'm gonna flip it over. So I have image, linoleum. I'm gonna take my bone folder and I am just gonna burnish this on. I'm inking, so I'm gonna take, oh, I have 3 Sharpies. Oh my, Sharpie rich today. I'm gonna take a Sharpie and I'm actually going to ink this. So I guess it's technically Inktober because I'm actually gonna ink this. And I ink it just because this graphite will wear off when I'm carving, and I don't wanna lose my image or anything like that. So Something Wicked This Way Comes is a reference to Macbeth, and it's a line from Macbeth. By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. I've always just really liked that line. It's also the title of a novel by Ray Bradbury, but I haven't read that particular novel of his, although now I kind of want to because it sounds pretty interesting. The novel is a dark fantasy novel, and it has supernatural elements, and it sounds like it would be pretty perfect for Halloween. So I might have to look into finding it. If you've read it, tell me what you think about it below. That would be awesome. But enough about that. Let's talk about the piece itself. I just wanted something really Halloween-y, and I was actually thinking about making a few Halloween cards to send out to friends and family. And I just wanted a fairly simple design, but when you opened it and looked at the card, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is definitely like a Halloween card. And I wanted to put like a creepy looking wrought iron fence on it that looks really old and like it's kind of falling apart. And then of course a spooky cat, because what's Halloween without spooky black cats? But I like this design fairly well. It's a simple design, but letters are hard to carve around if you're new to carving, so it definitely got me some practice that I needed. And I did once again cut my finger. I think a band-aid will appear suddenly. Yeah, there it is. I probably am not the best person to look up to if you're getting carving like physical carving tips, because I do nick my hands occasionally. You never want to carve towards your hands, and I know I do that. So if you are taking up carving, I guess do as I say and not as I do. At least I just want to tell you to be as safe as possible, because it is easy to cut yourself with this. But I really enjoy carving, even though I do occasionally nick. Also, I've noticed that like watching this playback, I've sped it up significantly. And it looks like I'm carving a lot more haphazardly than I really am in real life. And I know if you watch a few of my carving videos, I will talk about safety each time. I know it probably gets old, but it is so important. It's just like working with a fire or anything. But I'm about done with the carving itself, and I'm going to move on to the printing. And I'm actually going to show you all 3 stages of printing. So for this, I actually ended up printing 3 test prints before I printed it in my Inktober sketchbook. And I am using the Blick water-soluble black ink, printmaking ink. I love this ink. It's a speedball roller. My carving tool is also speedball. And the linoleum I'm using is the Dick Blick Gray Battleship linoleum. And you just want to, this one was a little bit too ink heavy, but this is just one of my test prints. And like I said, I actually did make 3 because this first time I printed it, I pulled my print up and I was like, I need to carve away a little bit more. So there's my fiance in the background, but I just kind of carved just a little bit away, and I am working in my kitchen. There's my Band-Aid, so another reminder of nicking myself, and perhaps this isn't the safest either. But I was just carving a little bit away around the letters. One thing when you're carving lettering, you want it to look sharp. And any little bit that's left around the lettering can make it look very messy. And that's one reason that if you do lettering, you're probably going to have at least one proof that you have to make. So in this case, I did 2 proofs, and this is my second one, where I actually carved a little bit away after it, and the third proof I was happy enough with to print. So, but that's good printmaking advice in general, is to do test prints while you're carving to make sure you're going to be happy.
Millie, are you helping?
And if you're doing a larger or more involved piece, you probably want to do test prints during the carving as well. So carve a little print, make sure you're not carving away too much. Here you can see, especially above like the letter N and something, I carved away some stuff that made it look messy. But if you carve away too much, you're not going to be able to get that back. There are ways, like you could cut out a piece of laminate and attach it to that or this, but those are just hassles that you can avoid if you are cautious with what you're carving away. But it turns out that after this, I do like this, so this is my last proof, and then I'll actually print it in my Inktober sketchbook. And I'm just printing on some cheap sketchbook paper. It's acid-free, which is good. And my cat in the background, I think there's like a fly in there that she's trying to catch, but at least it's keeping her busy, because generally they try and walk all over my wet ink. So this is the final one, and I like this. I like that it has these little lines in it. I think that makes it look cool. It makes it look like a print, and I'm leaving those. If you didn't like them, you can cut them out, but I decided that that's what I wanted to go with, and I'm very carefully inking it because I won't get a second chance to print my Inktober sketchbook. It's a one and done, so I have to be pretty careful. And that's the sketchbook, and Millie's still looking for the fly or whatever. Maybe she's just hiding, I don't know. But it's always nerve-wracking when you're like pulling one that you don't want to do over or you can't do over. So I was just like waiting with bated breath just to make sure nothing crazy happened to it. But I like how it turned out. It looks pretty good in my Inktober sketchbook. And that's all I have for Inktober Day 5. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in my other videos, I have another video on printmaking. I'll have a few more coming. I also do crafts and watercolor and acrylic. But if you're doing Inktober, I wish you luck. And once again, thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a great day.